Hey guys, it's Amy again from Ara Ara here for the 8th episode of 86. Let's go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get going.
They looked hard, but there's still no sign of Chisei's juggernaut.
None of this was your doing.
Is this about Lena?
Today's attack had the secondary goal of testing that new weapon.
That secondary goal killed 4.
If it's completed, we'll lose a lot more. The Republic will fall. That may not matter to us. To the Major, it's the entire
It's so
world.
sad because they're sort of e-dating.
The new unit's been keeping silent for a while now.
How can you tell?
I memorized its voice.
Oh
I
no.
found him.
Your brother?
He found me too. He'll come for me next. Will you hang yourself tonight before you die tomorrow?
We're following you to the bitter end.
Such true friendship, but do they have to go?
We're here to be wiped out. This entire unit's a hangman's gallows.
Special orders. Target the deepest part of the Legion-held territory. Mission duration unlimited. No support.
It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
In the event of retreat.
This is the last place we'll ever serve.
It's not fair.
What's going on? Lena, a final mission with a survival rate of 0%.
How can you be so
huh?
casual about it?
Well, that sure sounds like this country, all right.
But we have to do something.
This isn't something we can fix.
Stop pretending you're a bad person to justify doing
Okay,
nothing.
why are you
Damn it, the
angry?
one who needs to stop here is you! There's nothing we can do.
Have you tried? Why are you so touchy about that?
Our old neighbors,
Okay.
they weren't just scientists on my dad's research team. You see, that wonderful family, we're 86.
Was Shin her neighbor?
The older brother was way older, but the younger one was just about my age.
Does she know that Shin's in Spearhead?
That boy and I were good friends.
Okay, so because you were bullied for being friends with 86, you don't want to help them?
It hurt so much. But my neighbor didn't know what was going on. I told him to go away. I got into a
Messed
fight.
up, bruh.
That's when I said it.
You filthy colored!
I'm trying to remember if that's what Kid Shin looked like.
When my dad was thinking about ignoring the danger to take our neighbors in and shelter them, I said no. I said he wasn't my friend.
See? Even your dad wanted to help.
The next day, we watched as their whole family was shipped out to the camps. You're always acting like such a saint, but you don't even realize you're every bit as guilty as I am.
What is this place?
The boys who lived next door, and their mother, had a strange power. They could tell each other what the others felt without saying a word. My dad took an interest in that power. At first, it was so simple. They put on these little toy-like devices and try to guess what their mom was thinking behind the curtain. But when the military found out, they ordered my dad to perfect it. And the ultimate result was the raid device that you're wearing on your neck.
No.
How many 86 do you think died to make that thing?
Did they?
Yup, tested on humans. Though officially the 86 aren't human, are they? The test subjects were all children. They all died suffering. My dad couldn't take it. He committed suicide.
It wasn't an accident?
He told me over and over that he had blood on his hands. I bear the same sin, don't I? So I decided to take over my dad's research, victims and all. That undertaker of yours? We got the request to investigate him because the dead handlers, remember? I thought if I had them bring in the processor at the root of it all, I might have somehow been able to save him if nobody else. But that's pure hypocrisy. Even with all your hope, you're no different. You're even worse. You were so determined to interfere and keep them all alive that now they're looking down the barrel of a suicide order.
Well, she didn't know. What the heck? It's like, hey, it's because you did your job. I don't know. Just sounds to me like she's projecting. Shut up. I don't know.
What is it now?
I formally request the cancellation of the special recon orders given to the Spearhead Squadron.
Yeah, it's literally a death march.
This is insane! Why must they continue marching meaninglessly to their death?
Doesn't make sense.
86 need to be wiped out. That's the safest, best option for this country.
How is that the will of the nation?
If, at this war's end, the things we've done to the 86 were to become public knowledge, the Republic would become an international pariah. Our people remembered solely as oppressors.
So our national ego is why we deny them the right to recover or bury their dead?
When the last of the 86 die, it will be as if they never existed at all. It will be as if the Republic had done nothing wrong. A very small number of people will know the truth, yes, but most of them will look the other way.
The 86 are a part of this Republic too, aren't they? So shouldn't the Republican ideals espoused by Saint Magnolia herself apply to
Fair
them
question.
too? How is this the will of the Republic?
It's a country overrun with fools and villains, the same sort who had Saint Magnolia executed. What more can you expect out of them? Mankind was not ready to have freedom and equality, and I personally don't think that we're ever going to be ready.
You have like a higher rank and you can do a lot more.
You know it's wrong to just sit back and let this happen.
You are welcome to speak of your hopes and your ideals as much as you would like, but you're not about to persuade anyone. That is why you came to me, is it not? Hope and despair are one and the same. You want something that you
That
cannot
cuts
have.
deep.
They're two names
Oh.
on two sides of the same coin.
I've been given special recon orders. I'm sorry. I tried as hard as I could, but I couldn't do anything. There's no point in obeying these ridiculous orders. Just run away.
Where is there to run? Everybody dies someday. Can't blame anyone if
Yeah.
that day comes a little earlier than you
I don't
expect.
know. I'm with
I don't
Lena in this.
understand. You're losing your future, your wishes, even your life.
Are you just saying that, or
Major, for us, it's not as if we're walking to our deaths. We're finally following
which
the path
is?
we wanted to follow. Going to the place we wanted to go. We can finally be free.
So you can't guarantee you're not gonna die.
We have to fight if we want to move forward. We've known that much from the start.
Yeah, dude, you can still die doing that.
Why did you have to realize that?
Whenever you're sad, you always laugh to hide the pain, especially when you talk about your brother. Please don't do this. Even if he's part of the Legion, he's still your brother.
My brother is a shepherd. I can't go anywhere without killing him. There is no need for you to monitor us anymore. I would rather you didn't hear my brother's last words.
What were his brother's last words? Why would that bother her?
Go past the eastern border, and you'll no longer hear the voices of the Legion. If anyone's left alive, that's where help might show up. When a shepherd dies, it throws the Legion into
Tell
chaos
me
for
to
a while.
escape.
All I ask is that you survive until then.
You're packed up with all the provisions, fuel, ammo, and spare parts we can muster.
I appreciate it.
I'm sure it hurts him. He knows they're just gonna die. And this guy has seen a lot of groups come in and just die.
A promise I can't keep.
You could at least lie to me. You're a real piece of work, you know.
Now that it's the last time, I realize I'm gonna miss the old man's lectures.
Really?
Oh, they're gonna say goodbye to the cat. It's sad because they're just going through their like daily lives normally, and they know what's gonna happen. It's an empty cafeteria.
We all gathered right here on the first day. On assignment day?
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, that's when we made that promise again.
No matter who calls us pigs, we'll never let ourselves become them.
As long as one of us still lives, we'll keep on fighting until our last day.
Who'd have thought 5 of us would get that far?
I guess the Major really is leaving us alone.
What's wrong? Do you miss her?
Not even close.
yeah. Why
I
did
guess
you say bye?
something does kind
That's
of bug me.
odd of her.
We kept telling her to leave us alone and it finally took. We shouldn't be upset about that.
I wanted to protect you. That was how it was supposed to be, but
Ray, where are Mom and Dad?
I could barely keep myself together back then.
Why did Mom die, Ray?
It's your fault. That's not true.
Mom went up. You killed our mother.
Stop it.
All of it's your goddamn fault.
It's not your fault.
Shit.
I couldn't handle the hate and rage I felt at my own powerlessness, and I took it out on you, the person I was supposed to protect. I couldn't protect you then, but shit.
No.
Now we'll be together forever. I'm coming for you without my fragile human body. This time, your brother will protect you forever. Come see me. Shin!
Ah. Okay. That was episode 8. So a few things from this episode. We sort of see the mindset of the people that is around Lena. We sort of see what their internal process is and what they think about the whole thing. And it's just messed up that they are in higher positions than her and they just chose to do nothing. And they just deflected and projected all their anger and their frustration on Lena. Which I guess in some way makes sense, right? Because like as much as I don't agree with them, like for example for Annette, if you put yourself in her shoes where you were childhood friends with someone, I don't know, just think of a random childhood friend, like best friend as a child, the person who you were next door to and you grew up with, and then all of a sudden someone says you can't be friends. And it's not just someone, it's a government, it's a big entity, it's bigger than your family, than anything, it's the law at this point, and you get bullied for that. And then your father commits suicide because he couldn't take what was happening, and then you choose to carry that burden by continuing your father's work. And then suddenly, you're just trying to live your life and do your work, do your job, do as you're told. Now you've been aware that there's nothing that you can do. And all of a sudden you get a friend who won't shut up. Like, I'm gonna help the 86. I'm gonna help the 86. Like, it can piss you off. But also, I don't know, it just doesn't seem fair that she's using all of that experience to contradict Lena. You don't have a say, girl, because at the same time, you always just ran away from the problem. You didn't really do anything. The moment the government said, don't be friends, you were like, okay, like I'm getting bullied at school and haha, bye. And then you were gonna get support from your father. Like, he was literally hoping that his daughter would say, hey, this is messed up. But you're like, nope, no, I don't care. I'm getting bullied at school, so F that. And that caused your father to commit suicide because I guess if you think about it, what hope is there for the future if the children of the generation agree to what's happening, right? So you're just like, the father's just carrying all this burden. It led him to his death. And then she continues to run away from the whole reality by just working regardless of what she knows and all of that. So I don't know. That's why I say that she's just projecting all of her frustrations on Lena, because yes, Annette did have it hard, like if you put yourself in her shoes, but just doesn't seem right. But I don't know, we wouldn't know what we would do in those scenarios, right? In our everyday lives, do we just turn a blind eye to stuff that are happening in the world that is just as crazy, that's just as brutal? If we were working for the government like Annette was, and we found out our government was basically funding a war, basically a genocide of an entire race for their own agenda, would you do anything about that? So it's kind of 50-50 sort of thing. Then we have the uncle who's in a higher position and can actually do something about it. He just chooses to do nothing. And he knows, like, her father was friends with this guy, and her father fought against the government, and he just chooses to turn a blind eye. But if you notice as well that he has scars on his face, I don't know if in the manga there's a backstory to it, just let me know in the comments below. But I don't know if in his backstory he fights alongside the 86 in a war, and while rising through the ranks and probably holding the same beliefs as Lena's father, he just couldn't do anything, and so he just continues to do nothing. I don't know if there's like history behind the uncle's thought process, but there has to be, I think. I don't think that you find out all these secrets and realize to yourself there's nothing that you can do, no matter how much you do. Another thing that I want to point out is how Lena mentions that Saint Magnolia, who is basically the country's foundation and hero, died for everyone in the Republic, including the 86. And Uncle here claps back like, yeah, she died because she was killed by greedy and selfish people, which is basically the people running the country. So what you gonna do, girl? So it sort of just makes me think of real life, how we have saints and martyrs and heroes and how they die for a certain cause. Maybe a revolution does follow, maybe there is some change that does ignite, but at the end of the day, do their beliefs just die with them? Because it's sort of just, I don't know, like the tables still slowly turn back to what it was without people noticing, or with people just slowly accepting things again. I don't know. Let's say your country was run by the government of another country which happened to be corrupt, and you have heroes that died for the country for this corruption to stop. And at the end of the day, if you look at the country now, is it any less corrupt than it was? And it's just messed up to think how the Republic is wiping out the entirety of different colored skinned races, all to revise their history, just so they cover up all the mistakes of the past and the future doesn't know about it. I guess a lot of countries do that though. They revise their histories, or maybe just corrupt countries, I don't know. But I guess it is in general, if you think about it. Like, they do say history is written by the victors. The people currently governing the Republic can write history the way that they want, and people are buying it, people are believing it. Just sort of makes you think, what are the stuff that we're buying that the government's just hiding? But anyway, back to Lena and how her mentality differs from the people around her. I think this is the one moment that we actually see Lena be completely hopeless. Because we've seen her be hopeless when Kai died and a lot of other scenarios when she found out about the Legion and all of that stuff, but nothing as much as this, to the point where she doesn't call them or doesn't even say goodbye. And I guess it just struck a chord on her because these are the two people that are closest to her in her life. She doesn't have family, she just has her uncle and Annette. So to hear them say these things probably really messed her up really bad. In the episode as well, Shin advises Lena to go past the eastern border. Was he giving her a warning? There's no way the team dies. Okay, this is an anime, they're not gonna do that. Thinks back on all the anime that has killed their main characters. But yeah, let's just assume that this is not like the anime that does kill their main characters, and that they do defeat Shin's brother and the Legion will cause chaos to the city. Are they warning her to go past the eastern border? Will we see Lena go to where the 86 is? What's gonna happen? Also, is Lena gonna protect the rest of the city? Like, is she gonna warn them? Or if she does warn them, how is she gonna warn them? Because let's say the Legion does go out of control. She knows that she can go to safety, but does anyone else know that? Is she allowed to tell anyone that? Will she get in trouble? What happens? Does everyone in the city just die and then Lena's just out in the open? See? But yeah, just back to like the uncle and to Annette. I don't like their way of thinking, but if you step back a little bit and just think of you being in their shoes, honestly, if you ask yourself, what would you do? And as we've already seen, like with Lena, there's not much you can do even if you hold a certain amount of power. Like Lena's a major and she can't even control the ammunitions her team gets. So I guess this show does show that even if you are in a position of power, there's nothing much you can do. But if you are in that position, what would you do? And yeah, the show basically ends with them marching to their deaths. It's a literal death march. It's messed up that this is happening to them. Also that the Republic can revise their history. Well, it's not even history because it's still ongoing. That's the thing. So messed up. Well, yeah, I mean, they have their own agenda. They do want to kill off Shin's brother. Wait, when he said like, I don't want you to hear my brother's last words, did he mean like all the other Legion? Like you have that particular sentence, like for Kai, it's I don't want to die. For Shin's brother is, I wanted to protect you, Shin. Were those his last words? Or as a shepherd, he can think, like as we've seen, like he had a whole conversation going on. So can he think of things differently? And you won't necessarily hear his last words, but what he meant was the last words of when the team does defeat his brother. Is that what it meant? But yeah, that's it for episode 8. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and follow us on our socials at the Ara Ara channel. You can follow me as well at Hasta La Vista Amy. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Ara Ara